It was a peaceful afternoon flight. Inside the first-class cabin, a young mother sat by the window, gently rocking her baby girl in her arms. She smiled lovingly. "You're the cutest," she whispered. "Ah, you look just like your mommy. Glad you didn't get your daddy's nose." The baby cooed softly, and the mother chuckled, until the little one started fussing. Okay, you're getting fussy. All right, baby girl, let's feed you," she said, carefully pulling out a light blanket and discreetly beginning to breastfeed her daughter. But moments later, a stern voice interrupted. "Excuse me, ma'am, but you need to stop what you're doing immediately." The mother looked up, startled. "I'm sorry, what?" The flight attendant crossed her arms. "This isn't the appropriate place or time for such activities. You'll need to stop right now." The mother frowned, confused. "Why? My daughter is hungry. She needs to eat." "This is first class," the attendant said coldly. "Our passengers expect a certain level of decorum and sophistication. What you're doing is inappropriate, and it's making other passengers uncomfortable." The mother blinked in disbelief. "I'm breastfeeding. It's legal. I'm covered. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm being discreet." "You may think you're being discreet," the attendant replied sharply, "but others have noticed. Some have already given me looks." The mother's voice grew firm. "Oh, looks? Should I apologize for having a child?" The flight attendant leaned closer. "You need to be considerate of the atmosphere we're trying to maintain. People pay a premium for peace and professionalism." Peace and professionalism don't include shaming mothers for feeding their babies, the mother said softly but firmly. The attendant rolled her eyes. "If you don't respect our standards, maybe first class wasn't the right place for you." At that moment, a calm older man sitting nearby spoke up. Actually, you're not bothering me at all. In fact, I think it's wonderful to see a mother caring for her child." The mother smiled gratefully. "Thank you, sir." But the flight attendant wasn't backing down. "You're just one passenger. I have to think about everyone else." The man replied firmly. "She's not breaking any rules. She wasn't disturbing anyone until you made a scene." The attendant huffed. "Fine. You can finish this time, but be done before the meal service begins. I don't want to see this behavior during food service. Understood?" The mother nodded reluctantly. "Yes, I understand." The man turned to her after the attendant walked away. "How are you doing? You okay?" She sighed. "Honestly, that really upset me. She made me feel like I was doing something wrong." "You didn't," he reassured her. "You're just being a good mom. Some people are unhappy and they take it out on others. Don't let that get to you." She smiled faintly. "Thank you. It really means a lot. I'm traveling alone with my baby for the first time." "Oh, is this your first child?" he asked warmly. "Yes," she said, looking down at the sleeping baby. "She's 6 months old. I was already nervous about this flight. That attitude just made it worse." He chuckled softly. "I have 2 kids myself. They're grown now. Seeing you with your daughter brings back memories. Treasure these moments, even the hard ones. They go by so fast." She nodded. "I know. Every day she changes. Even when I'm exhausted, I wouldn't trade it for anything." He smiled. "Don't ever feel ashamed for feeding your child. It's the most natural thing in the world." The baby started crying softly again, hungry once more. The mother sighed, whispering, "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy's here." She began to feed her again, quietly, carefully. But before long, the same attendant stormed down the aisle. "I specifically told you not to do this during food service," she snapped. "I'm sorry, but she woke up hungry. I can't just ignore her cries." The attendant's tone grew harsher. "You were given clear instructions and chose to ignore them. That shows disrespect for me and the other passengers." "With all due respect," the mother said calmly, "your instructions don't override my daughter's needs. She's an infant. She doesn't understand schedules." The attendant crossed her arms. "Every other parent manages to cooperate. Since you didn't, you won't be receiving your meal until everyone else is served." The mother's eyes widened. "Wait, what? You're punishing me because I fed my baby?" The older man beside her stood up. "This is outrageous." he said firmly. "You're punishing her for feeding her child?" "Sir, I'm enforcing standards," the attendant said defensively. "This isn't enforcement," he replied. "This is harassment. There's no rule against breastfeeding on a plane." The attendant glared. "You're not part of the crew, sir. You don't know what it's like to maintain order at 35,000 feet." He looked at her steadily. "Actually, I do. And this," he gestured around the cabin, "isn't order. It's personal bias disguised as airline policy." The mother whispered, "You don't have to defend me, really." He smiled gently. "You don't have to shrink to make someone else comfortable. You've done nothing wrong." The attendant's voice trembled slightly now. "If you continue interfering, I'll have to report this to the captain." The man sighed. "Actually, I am someone you should report to." The attendant frowned. "What do you mean?" He pulled out an ID card. "My name is David Martinez. I'm the CEO of this airline." The entire cabin fell silent. The attendant's face went pale. "Sir, I didn't realize. I was just maintaining standards." What I witnessed was not maintaining standards. It was harassment and discrimination against a mother simply caring for her child. "But sir, I thought company policy." "There is no policy against breastfeeding on a plane," he interrupted. "In fact, this airline has supported the rights of nursing mothers for over 5 years." She stammered. "I must have misunderstood. I really was just—" "Enough," David said. "You're terminated from your position effective immediately upon landing. Your behavior is unacceptable and a liability to this company." Her eyes filled with panic. "You can't do this." "You're free to file a complaint," David replied calmly, "but no one will side with someone who harassed a nursing mother." He turned to the young woman. "Ma'am, I'm deeply sorry for how you were treated on our airline. This is not who we are. As a gesture of goodwill, I'd like to offer you and your daughter 2 years of complimentary first-class travel, priority boarding, and any accommodations you need when flying with us." The mother was speechless. "That's incredibly generous. Thank you so much." "You don't have to thank me," David smiled. "You deserve basic human decency, and that should never be negotiable." He turned to another flight attendant. "Bring this passenger the finest meal we have, and then leave her and her baby alone for the rest of the flight. Understood?" "Yes, sir," they replied immediately. David leaned down and smiled at the baby. "You and your mom are always welcome on our flights. Never forget that." Tears filled the mother's eyes. "Thank you. You turned what was becoming a nightmare into something I'll never forget, for all the right reasons." David nodded. "Enjoy your flight, and never let anyone make you feel ashamed for being a good mother." As he walked back to his seat, the mother looked down at her little girl, now peacefully sleeping. She whispered, smiling, "Looks like we've got first class for 2 years, baby. We're going to be just fine."